Okay, everybody. Today is going to be not what I planned. I originally was going to show off a speed run of Hypnospace Outlaw, but it turns out that I would have to downgrade the game first in order to show off any of that, apparently. Which is kind of a shame, but I suppose I understand why. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a show-off of all of the threads that ever show up in Minx. Because there's definitely one day that I didn't show off. So we'll cut to that in just a moment. Merchantsoft drops NetSettler page support. Can't view unless you buy HypnoCure Pro. This is trash. Why does Merchantsoft hate their users? You must be joking. There's no way people are shelling out 499 Hypno coin for that. This almost seems like a direct attack on us since we're one of the few pages still using the old NetSettler format. They must know we don't pay for anything. Sucks for people who want visitors, but useful to keep Minx hidden if we keep it this way? Yeah, I think you can download it for free on a few F-lists. I'll put it on my island in Freelance too. Either way, whatever script they wrote to add that ugly NetSettler header sucks because it totally missed our pages and that sound effects guy in Opened-Eyed. It does offer another layer of security, which is okay. I've considered sending HC Pro around to some of the poor users they've screwed, though. Yeah, we get it. Halloween special up on the dumpster, featuring skeleton animations and more of Arlen's unbelievably horrible artwork. What more do you want? Hilarious as always. Heads up, I told Dylan Merchant. It's cool though, he's a fan. I gave him a password, but he doesn't have eyes, so Reasoning, don't murder me. He apparently loves the dumpster and didn't know what to make of Minx, but after seeing it, he loves it too. He'll probably post here soon. Is this a sick joke? I would very much murder you if this turns out to be true. Dylan Merchant should not be here! Hey guys! I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's a suit. He's going to shut us down and spy on us. But that's not why I'm here. I used to run with communities like these back before NetSettler started, so I know the drill. I'll just be here enjoying all the sweet stuff you guys do. To be honest, I love the dumpster, which is why I reached out. DM. Don't sign your posts, you sack of sellout garbage! Also, go away! The HSPD Enforcer program is stupid, clunky, unethical, and will be ineffective. This is Merchantsoft at their most incompetent. They're picking volunteers from their user base to go around and hammer on page elements with a gavel tool. If the element is found to be in violation, they'll give the citizen whose page it was found on violation points. 1. People are stupid. They're going to hammer all kinds of unrelated trash and tie up bandwidth. Also, what counts as a violation? Who decides? 2. As we all know, HS account security is notoriously poor. It's way too easy to edit other citizens' pages. 3. They keep hiring fresh-faced kids who know absolutely nothing about network security. Yet another unsurprising yet baffling Merchantsoft move. Good luck with your newbie police, scumbags! And the volunteers are paid in Hypnocoin. They're so cheap. Hey, Reasoning, so I hear your skepticism, but I don't think you really know our game plan here. 1. Most of the time, they are given cases based on reports sent in by citizens. Also, maybe this is inefficient, but I set it up to alert me when a violation is reported and can very quickly look at it, confirm, or deny. It works. 2. No, I don't think we all know this. Our security is excellent. And yeah, you Minx people do some boundary pushing things, but I like you guys. 3. Not true. Our interns and employees are put through all kinds of tests and generally the best engineers and tech heads I've ever met. HypnoS Dream Tools version 0.5.26. Newest version of Dream Tools is up. It's in the Freelance now, south of dock and entrance. Requires second sight. I had a few virtual pet hacks for fun. Speaking of pets, did anyone notice that they decrypt sandwich files if you feed them to them? Ronnie Wall is a useless nerd, but that's cool to have. I was about to make my own sandwich tool. Ah, so you're the famous Reekening who sent us all those weird things in the mail. This doesn't seem too malicious, so I'm cool with it. Don't post it anywhere else, or else I'll have to delete it if it gets reported. You think I care about your approval, dipweed? The U.S. Education Council thing approved Counselor Ronnie. The Merchantsoft creative team interns all just got cupcakes because won Merchantsoft some sort of government grant for educational content. Teentopia proudly meets and surpasses all requirements of the 1996 American Republic Children's Entertainment Act. Either they just didn't actually read any of it, or couldn't figure out how to use Hypnospace. Or maybe some minx-esque idiot, like, works us... Or maybe some minx... Wow, I'm having a bit of a difficulty here. I tried to make this a little bit more official and voice actory, and here we are. Or maybe some minx-esque idiot like us works there. Either way, congrats. This is legendary. I just heard the news from Adrian. Great job, Jezzo. Don't be so down on yourself. I'm sure it's great work. Also, it's funny that our interns even post here. Hi everyone, my name is Connie and I run a page in Goodtime Valley called Connie's Connections. It's a pleasure to meet you all. While I appreciate the message from Reekening with the free illegal HypnoCure Pro download, you should know that you were criminally easy to track down. It's very nice of you to attempt to help the NS community, but you should cover your tracks more thoroughly next time. I quickly converted my pages to the newer HS format, but many of the pages I linked to on Connie's Connections were NetSettler pages. A good portion of those users, or citizens I suppose, have unfortunately left Hypnospace as a result of this fiasco. Now, most of my links go to pages that are no longer active. It's disappointing, and I am very, very angry with Merchantsoft. What in the world? Connie's Connections and Minx? How did you get in here? Does the whole Good Time gang know? I have no words. Reekening is going to have a fit. We meet again, Connie. I knew you'd eventually find us. I'd rather not find myself on the receiving end of your ire, so it comforts me that we seem to have a common enemy. Enjoy your stay here. Beef Brain worked! You're welcome! What's next for Jezzo? I've still got some fresh Counselor Ronnie stuff coming, but that's getting old, and I think going too far with that may get us into some trouble. Open-eyed is fun because we blend in so well there. Any ideas? Maybe something with Bible Guy or Psychedelic Hippie Drug Guy? Counselor Ronnie? Oh god, I didn't even catch on to that. Well, whatever, just don't get too wild. Beef Brain has already been expensive, what with our health experts and all. Still, it makes me laugh knowing how much Adrian would hate this. Breaking from my reading for a second, Dylan, didn't you literally read about Jezzo pointing out that Counselor Ronnie was a minx job last 3 weeks ago? Jesus. He really is incompetent. Hey ladies! New Outlaw testing? So how about it? I've got a new alpha, really more of a beta almost, with some sweet new stuff in it. Still playing with bots, but I'm getting online going in the next week. I'm interested, if only to see how unfathomably terrible your code is. Otherwise, I'd like to keep my headband from exploding, thanks. Ideas for new dumpster trash? For as many units as Merchantsoft are apparently moving, people sure don't post much new content. Anyone find anything particularly awful? Oh, we have a new programmer working for us, and she is a piece of work, constantly nagging and slowing me down. I'm slowly switching her over to HSPD busy work and finding a new programmer. Anyway, maybe find something on her and she'll cry and quit. MS Samantha. I hate Hypnospace, but sometimes it is great! Coolfest 99 was better than any of us could have hoped. Chowderman losing a leg in a helicopter crash? You can't make this up. Also, watching Cool Punk implode because of lip singing has been great. So, Dylan, official statements? Yeah, this is a mess. The whole Cool Punk thing was stupid, and we're about to do away with it. Adrian saw potential because of the Gray's Peak connection, but nah, there's no real movement except a few kids being weird online, and Gray's Peak are done with us. It's interesting. The Cool Punk is Dead Guy and Father Fungus have matching headband IDs. Same person. As far as I can tell, he worked with Freezer at some point or did music for him. His Fungus style sounds similar. Also, Dylan, I thought you were the creative brother who didn't care about money. What changed? Tim and Minx? I kinda like the guy. He's got style. He can code. He's sick of Merchantsoft's utter incompetence. Let's give the guy a chance. I mean, Dylan is here, so why not? Also, I'm sick of having to remind everyone to reset their passwords. Hell no! He's like 13! He has skills for a teenager, but I wouldn't trust him not to share too much. We wouldn't last another week if our lame interns found out. Seriously? There is no we. You're the one who shouldn't be here, rich boy. Go back to working on your bad car game. Guys, please give us a break on New Year's Eve. There's so much we're trying to do to make this place better for everyone. I get Reconing's points and agree with them. We're making changes and doing what's best for our users. Please, please, please just let us do this and then have your fun. Beef Brain was funny, but it has rippled into insanity internally, and we really don't need something like it on Y2K. Thanks all. I highly doubt that you get my points, let alone agree with them. You should be more worried about running your poorly written software on those cheap headbands than anything we're going to do. Also, why are you posting on Christmas Eve? Go back, please. There we go. Outlaw in the year 2000 update? Since Dylan is here, I was wondering. Are you guys really putting Outlaw in the year 2000 update? In the build from a week ago, the network code wasn't even working. Are you outsourcing or something? Also me and the other creative team interns want to know when we're being paid. December checks weren't handed out. Could Merchantsoft be any more of a disaster? Wow! Yes, it will be. There was a bottleneck with our programmers right before that build came out because we had to let someone go, but it will definitely be in the update. I'm pulling 120-hour weeks over here to make sure it does. I'd never outsource Outlaw. It's too important. It's going to blow you away. Where's Dylan? He wasn't my favorite person in the world, but why was he flushed? He can make life very hard for me, so I'd really rather we just let him hang around. Things are happening. He can't be here. Hypnospace isn't going to survive the millennium. I found something big, and I'm digitizing it right now. Later in the Tim and Minx thread, he's obviously a big fan of your stuff, but he's just doing it for attention. There's no meaning. Almost all of his junk is to show off for that Tiff chick. It's a high school mentality. Half of his greasy, pimply friends would be in Minx in no time if you invite him. So no. No meaning is an interesting critique from the dude who runs the dumpster. Also, did you see what he did to those guys in Teentopia? That's justice if I've ever seen it. Small scale, sure, but effective. Okay, you guys were right. Tim's launched a year 2000 mind crash attack. Okay, more of a game than an attack, really, on Hypnospace tonight, and it is entirely meaningless. It is completely overshadowing my leak, and people really need to see this. I wish he'd stop it with the theatrics, because this could hurt people. If anything happens to my leak, I'm putting a backup on my island in SCD/FL. Stop using Hypnospace right now. Look inside. Don't use Cyberworld Z either. I won't post it here since the chances are too high that Dylan can find a way to see this, but if you have second sight, search this tag. Revelation. Putting a backup copy on my island, same one as Dream Tools in Gil's dumb area, no one goes there anymore because Merchantsoft deleted half of their stuff by accident. Won't be using my headband again. If you know where to find me outside of here. P.S. Dylan is out of minx again as of right now. Some of these screens are very incriminating, and I can't risk him knowing what we know. Okay, little bonus feature. We're going to look at the dumpster because we saw that Dumpy1 was a member of minx, and I didn't actually look at any of the dumpster content other than the dumpies, which you have to for plot reasons. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the November 26th and December 31st issues of the dumpies. Or the dumpster, rather. November 26th. I went to Coolfest 99. This event was incredible. Cool Punk is finally dead, folks, and Coolfest killed it. From the moment I stepped out of my car onto the, ironically, scorching pavement of the King Amphitheater parking lot, I knew this was going to be special. Sandwiched between two enormous ads for extra thick chips was the Coolfest ticket window. Waiting patiently in front of it were 200-ish people. Not quite the 5,000 person turnout the Coolfest planners were hoping for. Here's a highly scientific pie chart of the Coolfest attendee types. Approximately half 15-year-old cool punk kids. A little around 1/8 confused 45-year-old Chowderman fans. Everybody else, parents of 15-year-old cool punk kids. After grabbing our tickets, a venue attendant had us form another line at the opposite end of the I started to choke words here a little bit. After grabbing our tickets, a venue attendant had us form another line at the opposite end of the... Fuck, dude. Why is this so hard to read? After grabbing our tickets, a venue attendant had us form another line at the opposite end of the venue for our promised Joe Man merch. Only the cool punk kids and parents hit this line, with the Chowderman people heading inside to get good seats for his opening act. After waiting for nearly an hour for the merch to show up, the sound of tires screeching called our attention to a truck speeding towards us, knocking a few trash cans over on the way. Some sweaty guy emerged and a single box of Joe Man keychains. No shirts, and no free Gray's Peak Cola as was promised. People were pissed, and the keychains were used as projectiles throughout the rest of the evening. Chowderman had already launched into the Chowderman's hotel room when me and the gaggle of cool punk kids and parents arrived at the stage. He followed it up with some 8-minute song about shaving, a couple of new rap rock songs with his new band Cruncher, and an encore of an extended performance of the Gray's Peak jingle. No one really cared or seemed particularly into his stuff until the Gray's Peak thing. Then, it happened. A helicopter landed on a platform in the middle of the crowd, and the band and a few fans from backstage hopped aboard. I was surprised that the thing even made it in safely with all the wires hanging around. And as I'm sure you all know, Chowderman crashed his copter. Old Chowder's leg had to be amputated and their drummer died. I can't bring myself to be too awful about this because it was harrowing to watch. You'd think they'd call it a night after a helicopter crash, but no. Coolfest continued. An old guy from Gray's Peak, a guy in a Joe Man costume, and a few Merchant Soft people came up and gave a speech about how amazing and dedicated cool punk fans are and threw a few shirts into the crowd. It would have been weird anyway, but the crash just made it completely surreal to watch. Freezer hit the stage next and played for only 15 minutes before it became clear that he was lip-syncing. The cool punk kids started yelling mild swear words and started throwing their Joe Man keychains on stage. An old guy came out and told everyone that Coolfest was over, and that was it. Needless to say, the event exceeded my expectations. And now here is what we get on December 31st. This is why we had such issue accessing this, by the way, is that if you time travel on these pages, these are like separate pages on the dumpster, and this doesn't add new news stuff on here. Also, November 2nd, isn't that like... Yeah, so that's pretty far back. These dates are a little messed. Anyway, back we go. Enter the dumpster. The dumpster is on hiatus. I think I'm running out of horrible garbage to share. I mean, there's a lot of it, but it's all the same. Bad songs, bad poems, bad this or that. Maybe I'll start doing something creative by Modem. Yeah, so as you can see, Dumpy obviously quit in advance of being told about the fact that the Hypnospace headbands were going to explode. Oh, is there more here? Oh, yeah. There sure is. I didn't even notice. The venue. Already bad. After seeing the Cool Punk Paradise and Starport Castle Dream Station disasters, investors forced Merchantsoft to conduct... Oof. I feel like I should restart, but I will probably not bother to edit this, aside from to put all these video chunks together. After seeing the Cool Punk Paradise and Starport Castle Dream Station disasters, investors forced Merchantsoft to consult with this fancy PR lady. As a result, all of the zones have been given a graphical overhaul, and they're doing all kinds of backpedaling to placate their fragile user base. One of my minx compatriots has a gig as an intern at Merchantsoft and has been hard at work helping to touch up a few of the Hypnospace zones. Let's call him Jay. One of Jay's projects is, or was rather, a page called Open Mic at the Venue, which was supposed to feature new creative works submitted by Hypnospace citizens every week. As one might expect, Jay would have done his best to highlight the absolute worst of the worst for our amusement. He let me in on one such work which you can find here in the Cavern. Sidebar, the Cavern. Like the Freelance, but more confusing and for jobless artsy cosmites. Get a job, slackers. Some of the Cavern is legitimately interesting. Only problem is that fungus guy letting anyone post whatever awful trash they want. That's Drip Boy's thing. Unfortunately, Open Mic has become something bland and soulless under the iron fist of the new PR lady. I know the dumpster isn't in a position to make ethical critiques, but if they're going to try and pretend to promote work by Hypnospace citizens, they could at least get their name right. Dingus McScree. Nice name, buddy. Hypnospace lovers, as in people who use Hypnospace who are in love, not people who love Hypnospace itself. Love between online parties has a particularly greasy, nasty vibe to it. I mean, these people don't really know one another. They could both be gross. They probably are gross. I don't feel like writing today, so I'll let their content do the work for me. Visual assets here. Wow, you really were lazy there, no name. Let's check the archive. Previous dumpings. Oh my goodness, that's pretty great. Alright, so there's some stuff that I haven't looked at in a while. We've seen the dumpies already. F-List. Too popular now? F-List, or FLST if you're a nerd, is currently filling the void that DigiExchange left behind after Merchantsoft banned it. Until recently, people were only using it to post rips of the bad, obscure music they listened to, but now the Hypnospace rabble are sharing passwords, I guess, and it's getting really, really bizarre. Like, do these people get that it's private? Here's a bunch of interesting poems. And here we have, drawings of cars with human heads? Even Chowderman himself is using it, and, well, just see for yourself. In conclusion, we should probably revoke all F-list passwords and start again. At least until they don't know about the NetSettler safe mode thing yet. Nobody tell them, please. Whoops. November 7th. The free lands are amazing. This group of geeks staged an insurrection after Merchantsoft deleted their favorite zones, and I legitimately like what they've done. It's dumb as hell, but I love it. Instead of a list of pages, you have to navigate their zone by clicking arrows on a giant multi-page map and click on landmarks to visit their pages. It takes ages to find what you're looking for, too. The best part of this is that a Merchantsoft employee is partially responsible for its existence. He disabled the page owner field on the Freelance pages, so technically anyone who knows about it can get in and make pages. I did a little tinkering, yeah, added a dong shape, but my edits were changed back minutes later, so there must be some nerd out there keeping a real close eye on this stuff. I love this part. Yeah, I just put a dick on there. Sounds about right. Alright, we've seen the dumpies, Halloween and Hypnospace. Here we go, this is one that we haven't seen in a little bit. Halloween is in a few days. Hypnospace citizens have already decked their pages out with a broad assortment of horrifying imagery, such as skeleton playing guitar, skeleton laughing, skeleton riding motorcycle, skeleton just kind of standing there, skeleton hand pointing, skeleton tipping cowboy hat. We were just about to do the predictable thing and list Halloween-themed pages from 70-year-olds who can't quite figure things out when we came across this. Let's have a closer look at that fellow on the right, shall we? Why do I exist? Isn't that on the left? This affront to Gaia, dear readers, is a Halloween offering from Good Time Valley's own Celtic warlock, Arlen Fair Obi. While not torturing his neighbors with a marathon bagpipe practice lesson... While not torturing his neighbors with marathon bagpipe practice sessions, Arlen creates 3D art and shares it with his fellow Good Time citizens pro bono. We'd consider it admirable if he wasn't also inflicting irreversible psychological trauma in the process. Update. Arlen found our article, had a personal meltdown, and removed his Halloween page. Don't take these things so hard, Arlen. We're just pulling your hairy Celtic leg. I've got some very, very bad news for you, dumpster writer. I don't think you know. We've uploaded Arlen's glorious desktop wallpaper in the name of digital preservation. Give me that.
Downloading Arlen Halloween.
And lastly, this should be the last article here. World's Worst HSM Showdown. HSM is Hypnospace's... Well, that's true, but HSM is Merchantsoft's proprietary sample-based music format. It was designed by non-musicians to save bandwidth by triggering samples that come pre-installed with HypnoS. HSMs can only be made using Hypnospace Tune Sequencer, a free software package for Flaming OS. The accessibility of the software has resulted in a plague of unlistenable trash music from amateur composers the world over. Please put your ears together for the world's worst HSM showdown. I think we have most of these, do we not? Actually, we have all three of these, don't we? PizzaDance.hsm. The latest inexplicable craze to hit Teentopia. PizzaDance.hsm is annoying, but we're not sure if it's eligible to win simply because most people know it's an awful, awful song. Its popularity is a direct result of its coupling with that dancing pizza animation. With no credited composer, we're going to chalk this one up to being a marketing ploy and leave it alone. ColdSnap_xMazMelody.hsm. Ah, cool punk. Once an underground music genre / art movement, now a hollow fad among Philosophy 101 students. This song is an attempt at a danceable Christmas medley by a person who, as far as we can tell, doesn't actually know how to write music. It contains plenty of Chowderman from the Gray's Peak jingle, cool punk kids are bonkers over it, and ho 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 samples, but the music on offer is so bad. Gil_cybercogcircus.hsm. This .hsm sounds like the result of a give a monkey a Hypnospace tune sequencer experiment. This whole feature could have easily been only songs made by Gil, but we're cutting the fellow a break since he's at least honest about his lack of musical ability. Doesn't stop him from pumping out tracks like Cybercog Circus, though. It's almost charming. And so is this page, I guess. Well, I'll see you all next time with some more Hypnospace content. Hopefully with me choking on my words less and, not busting out laughing so much. That would be nice too. Then again, this game is hilarious, so maybe I don't want to do that, but it does make reading back content a little bit of a pain. I'll see you all later.